Okay, so Tesla, they had their We Robot thing last night. Did you see any of it?
I caught some of the live stream.
It was something else, wasn't it? The energy, I mean.
Definitely a lot of buzz, that's for sure.
People have been like waiting for this Robotaxi forever, it feels like. And we finally got to, actually see it.
Yeah, seeing is believing, right?
Right. And they held it at Warner Bros. Studios. Can you believe that?
Oh, no kidding. I didn't realize.
Yeah. Kind of fitting, don't you think? I mean, talk about feeling like you're walking onto a sci-fi movie set.
Huh. Yeah, a little bit. But hey, the future is now, right?
Right. But it wasn't all just for show. You know what I mean? There were some big announcements, and we're going to dive into the ones that I think really matter for you.
Sounds good. What stood out to me, I think, even more than the tech itself was the thinking behind it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like Tesla's not messing around. They're going for a complete change in how we think about transportation.
Yeah.
And they're putting some pretty ambitious timelines out there.
No kidding. And they came out strong, too. First up, the thing everybody was waiting for. The Robotaxi. Well, it's got a name now, official name. The Cybercab.
Cybercab.
Yeah, Cybercab.
Catchy.
Right. Probably sounds a little familiar. They're leaning into that whole Cybertruck look.
I can see it.
Which I gotta say, I think it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, not bad, not bad.
But here's the thing. They didn't just show some, concept car on a stage, There were 50 autonomous Cybercabs driving around the event.
Wow. 50 of them.
50. No drivers, just pure, self-driving tech doing its thing.
That's a statement. And honestly, kind of risky,
How do you mean?
Well, putting it all out there like that, it creates this feeling of momentum. Like, it's not just talk, it's real,
Right. Like, we're not just dreaming about this, it's already happening kind of thing.
Exactly.
And speaking of making it real, Musk, he was very clear about, his whole vision for a totally autonomous future. He spent a good amount of time talking about how eventually AI is going to be safer and way more efficient than any human driver.
Which is a pretty bold claim when you think about it.
It is. But then he went on about, how AI is not going to get distracted or anything, not going to get frustrated, can react faster in, different situations on the road.
And he's not just saying this, right? They've got data, like billions of miles worth from their autopilot systems.
Yeah.
That's what they're using to train the AI.
So it's not just, theoretical. They've got the data to back it up.
Right, exactly. Remember those driverless Model Ys they had driving folks around it at the event?
Yeah.
It's all part of their big plan. They want to roll out what they're calling unsupervised full self-driving next year in Texas and California.
Ambitious.
For sure. But here's the thing that gets me, and I think this is what matters to people listening. The Cybercab isn't just supposed to be like a fancy taxi.
Right, Musk was talking about a total change in how we think about transportation, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Less time stuck in traffic, more time to do, anything else.
Oh, and speaking of futuristic, you were saying about that, right?
Yeah, what about it?
The charging. It's not going to have a normal charging port.
Wait, seriously?
Yep, inductive charging. You just park it over a pad, no cables or anything.
Wow. Okay, that is pretty futuristic. But we're not done yet. There was more, right? There was that Robovan thing, and then the Optimus robot version 2.
Yeah, the Robovans, they're thinking bigger, not just individual cars.
The whole transportation system.
Exactly. Imagine, this super sleek van,
Yeah.
right? But it can carry 20 people or, a ton of cargo.
Yeah.
And it's all, autonomous.
Autonomous van. Wild.
Right. I think Musk even said something like, the future should look like the future.
Huh. I gotta love that. But okay, Optimus. They had those robots actually serving drinks at the event.
I know. It was pretty wild to see. Last year's Optimus was impressive, but this, it's like they're on another level now.
It felt like, a peek into the future. Robots just seamlessly moving around, handing out drinks. Crazy.
Yeah. And Musk seems really high on Optimus. He actually thinks it could be their biggest product.
Yeah.
Ever.
Seriously. Bigger than their cars.
No.
Wow. What's he being used for, aside from, robot bartender?
Well, he's talking about, home use and then, tons of stuff in workplaces. Basically, they do all those tasks that right now people have to do.
So robots doing all the, chores and stuff, that'd be pretty amazing, not gonna lie. But it's a lot to take in, you know what I mean?
Definitely a lot to process.
Yeah.
Especially because, this is all stuff that could actually happen.
Right. This isn't some far-off sci-fi movie. This is potentially our near future.
Yeah, and that brings us to the big questions. When can we get our hands on this stuff, and how much is it going to cost?
The million-dollar question, right? Everybody wants to know. So did he give us any hints about timelines or prices?
He did,
Yeah.
actually. He was surprisingly specific. For the Cybercab, he said they're aiming to start production before 2027.
Okay, so not tomorrow, but also not like decades from now. And the price.
Under $30,000.
Wait, seriously. Under $30,000 for a self-driving car.
That's what he said.
That's like way cheaper than I was expecting. Seems like they really are serious about making this tech, available to everyone, not just the super rich.
It does seem that way.
Okay, so that's the Cybercab. What about Optimus? How much is a home robot going to cost me?
Well, get this. Musk said something like 20 to 30,000.
No way. Seriously. It's not cheap.
No, it's still a big chunk of change.
Yeah.
But it's in the ballpark of what people spend on a new car.
That's true. Wow. Okay, so not exactly impulse buys.
Not quite.
But still, it's pretty wild to think, like, in a few years, we could be living with robots. This isn't just about, like, convenience, right? This is a pretty big shift.
It's huge. Like, think about it. What happens to all those jobs if robots are doing them? How does our, everyday life change?
Yeah, those are some big questions. And I think we need to be asking them, like, right now. This tech, it's moving fast.
It is, and we need to be ready for it.
Mhm.
All of it, the good, the bad, the really complicated stuff.
Absolutely. But for all the uncertainty, it is kind of exciting, too, don't you think? I mean, it's easy to get caught up in all of it, like robots, self-driving everything. It's exciting.
Oh, for sure. But it's also, early days. There's a lot that has to happen still to make it all work.
Yeah. Like, what about people who can't afford a $30,000 car, even if it is self-driving? Will this tech be for everyone or just, certain people?
Exactly. And what about jobs? A lot of jobs. Are robots going to take them all? These are the things we really need to figure out.
No easy answers there. It's bigger than just the tech itself, right? It's how we, as a society, choose to, I don't know, use it, I guess.
It's on Tesla, too. And all the companies making this stuff, they got to be thinking about this stuff. Ethics, and what it all means for people, not just how cool the tech is.
Right. Okay, so yeah, lots of questions. Big, kind of scary questions, maybe. But I don't know, there's also this feeling of, possibility, right?
Definitely. What if there are way fewer car accidents because of this? What if I'm thinking people who can't drive now, what if they suddenly can go anywhere they want?
Yeah. And what if we get our cities back? Less space for cars, more for, parks, people, I don't know. It's kind of a nice thought.
It's a good goal, at least, even if we're not quite sure how to get there yet.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what makes this whole thing so interesting. It's not just about, gadgets. It's about, what do we want the future to be?
It's a big question.
It is a big one.
So to everyone listening, I think that's the thing to remember, right? This We Robot event, it wasn't just Tesla showing off. It was a window into what could be good and bad, exciting and maybe a little scary.
And it's up to all of us to decide what we do with it, how we want to shape things.
Exactly. So what kind of future will you build? That's something to think about.